let me introduce Barry. For those of you who don't know, Barry Jenkins. He runs a top team at Better Homes and Gardens in Virginia Beach. He's expanded out in that area a lot. And he also works with YLOPO. He's one of the professors there. He does an amazing job. If you know YLOPO, you've seen Barry. His topic today, transforming lead conversion with robots. Discover the SMS method that yields a 34% appointment conversion. Barry, you've got a great book out. For those of you listening in, pick up his book. And if you put up the link, where is it? There it is. Too Nice for Sales by Barry Jenkins. And he talks about how to convert online leads in his method, which is amazing. Just jump in and grab that one.
Thanks, man.
Barry, let's talk, bro.
Yeah. So, YLOPO's AI was launched in 2019. And at that time, there was a lot of great innovations. A lot of it, and still today, a lot of the AI texting you see is through two main vendors. They just white label it. And a lot of it is like if-then technology. If the lead says this, then respond with this. And so it's not actually machine learning. So that's a subtle difference, but the impact is pretty profound. It's the difference between the lead saying, I'm not interested because I am getting a divorce, and the robot saying, okay, no problem, have a good day. And it's the difference between the lead saying, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that, right? And showing empathy. And while in that example that I just provided, it's not resulting in a sale necessarily. If you can imagine having a really well-trained salesperson always responding 24 hours a day, well, I would say 16 hours a day because we have quiet hours, 7 days a week, always showing empathy, always being relevant. That's where we are today, but it didn't start there, right? And I think as agents are trying to figure out, I mean, you guys remember like 2016, 2017, you would text a lead when they registered on your website, and it was such a big deal. The lead was like, wow, my agent's really on the ball, right? But then the insurance agencies and the alarm industry and all these different industries started auto texting. And so the consumer started to learn, like, this isn't going to work. Like, this is a robot. And so then we used video, right? We were like, all right, let's create like semi-custom videos. Hey, thanks for registering. And that worked for maybe a year or two. And then engagement dropped again, right? And so now what's happening is the consumer appropriately is learning what's possible. And so what's great about my role at YLOPO is I get to speak nerd on behalf of the realtor community to nerds, right? Engineers and machine learning experts that YLOPO hired, and they're listening to me. And actually in the month of July, 37% of all the leads that talk to Raya, YLOPO's AI, 37%, not the stops, not including the stops and leave me alone. It's if they say, I'm looking, over a third of the time. So 37% of the time, Raya sets an appointment. And some subtle things that as agents, you guys should be looking when you're shopping for AI texting. Some things that you should be looking for is, does it inject IDX search behavior into the conversation? So for example, the lead registers on your website. Does the AI say things like, hey, I know you're looking in city name. There's a few that I think you missed. Here's a link. And does the link bring them back to your search site? See, it's my opinion that over the next 6 to 12 months, I hope I'm actually wrong. So what I'm about to say, but I don't think interest rates are going to change in the next 6 to 12 months. I don't think our inventory challenges in markets across the country is going to change. I think the way things are right now is how it's going to be. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm hedging my bet that that's going to be the case. And it is my opinion that agents that are able to keep the consumer searching for houses thanks Gus, on their website, they're going to be the ones that crush it. Because, Zillow's fighting for the consumer's attention, Realtor.com, Redfin, they know if they can keep the consumer searching on their website, they're going to win the day. And so as agents, we have to have that same mindset, and we have the advantage of being hyper local, super relevant. We're aware of what's going on in the community. You want your AI to do the same thing. And so the first thing I want to encourage everybody as you're looking to leverage artificial intelligence is, does your artificial intelligence inject consumer behavior into the AI. If it doesn't, this technology has been available since 2019. This is not like groundbreaking stuff. So I'm pretty sure there's a couple of vendors out there that offer IDX behavior in the search traffic. Another example, the lead saves a home on your website. It's not enough to just send an auto text that says, hey, saw you were looking, you want to chat? Like, that's cool. But if you want to get a third of all your auto text, your AI text, actually sending text messages to the lead and converting, it needs to be a little bit more straightforward. Hey, did you want to go see the inside of 123 Smith Street? Here's a link to the other photos I think you missed. That's how you trick the consumer into thinking they're talking to a human. And, you know, it's for us, leveraging AI, you know, has been a big part of our entire business over the last 2 to 3 years. And I think that agents that adopt this stuff, I think they're just going to outpace the agents that don't. Not the big personality agents. Like, every market has agents where their clients love them. Like, they do like 200 deals a year because everybody loves them. Those agents are going to be fine. I'm talking about the rest of us that maybe don't have those winsome personalities like Nick and Tristan, that, you know, they walk into the room and everybody knows them and all that. Not everybody has that swagger. I see you looking, Nick. Don't be shy. I'm just kidding. But but yeah, so, you know, it's one of those things where you're going to be able to outpace them. So the first thing I would say is, does AI inject listings? The next thing that we've recently worked on over the last 5 months, I geeked out for a little while, is objection handling. So now, early on, AI texting was about getting engagement and kind of old school LP Mama, location, price, area, like, you know, just trying to like dissect very slotted information. Well, now AI has the ability to actually handle objections. So I'll give you guys an example. 3-4 years ago, AI technology, when it first launched via text messages, would send out a message and say something like, hey, do you mind if I send you listings? Well, if the consumer says no, for the last several years, AI texting would say, if they said no, they would say, okay, like, that's a negative response. We're going to slot it as negative. Have a good day, right? Now, over the last several months, what Ylopo AI is able to do is to actually handle objections. So instead of saying, have a good day, AI now is able to pivot and actually try to either change the conversation or qualify the no. So if I say, are you looking in the next 6 to 12 months? And they say no, instead of saying, okay, have a good day, I can say, all right, are you looking sooner? Are you looking farther out? Because ultimately, that's what a human would do. A human salesperson that knows what they're doing isn't going to just take one no. They're going to try to change the conversation. Oh, you don't want listings emailed to you? Do you want me to text it? Right? We're not just going to leave it alone. So that's the second thing I would say to look for, is how well is AI handling objections for you? And the third, and I have a couple of other things I want to share, but the third main thing I think you should be looking for is, look, elephant in the room, ChatGPT, right? When ChatGPT first came out, I, you know, as a copywriter, I was a little bit like, ugh, you know, but ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 5, guys, it's legit. And so what we did was, anytime the robot AI, Ylopo AI, is talking to the consumer, if the conversation goes sideways and it's below a certain percentage, I think it's 70%, but I don't want to say for sure. If we're less than 70% sure we know what the consumer's saying, we're going to pull from ChatGPT, right? We're not going to pull from, because I wrote the principles in my book, Too Nice for Sales, are how I wrote Ylopo's AI texts. And if it doesn't fit the framework of what I've trained her to do and coached the machine learning experts to do, we pull from ChatGPT, and it is so empathetic. I mean, you guys have experienced it, right? When you're like asking it to write things for you and what have you, it's able to dissect information in a way that people appreciate. It's kind of wordy, if I'll be honest. Like, I think my texts normally are 2 to 3 sentences, but I've seen where she wrote a paragraph. She like went into great detail and she nailed it. And so, you know, those things are very important. And so as you have AI sending listings, as you have AI handling objections, as you have AI leveraging the latest AI available, which is ChatGPT, to have conversations with the consumer, that's when you're going to get a third plus conversions in the platform. And what you want to do is you want to have an easy way to organize them. Because the other thing I found, now I want to talk about making money with this. You need to have all these conversations in one place, right? You need to have a CRM that's organizing all of these conversations for you. I know a lot of them do this. My favorite is Follow Up Boss, and they have a column called Last Marketing Text Reply. So this is where Follow Up Boss said, any text messages that responses that come through the API. So this is not phone number. This is like robots and programming. It's going to slot into the Last Marketing Text Reply inside of Follow Up Boss. And what I do on my team is I actually sort new to old, and I just say, show me all text replies. So this is every stop. This is every leave me alone. This is every I hate you. This is ever, can you come over to my house tomorrow to sell my house? Like everything. And the reason for that is I found that engineers generally, I'm speaking generally, have programmed AI to be very cautious. They don't want to make anybody mad. So AI is quick to retreat. And that's why the objection handling point was such a big needle mover for us. But it's still going to be really hard on itself. And so when you're trying to convert these leads, every stop, I'll just tell you how I tell my agents to handle it. I tell my agents to call the lead when they text stop and apologize. Businesses don't apologize anymore. That's just not, I don't know why. Consumer people don't apologize anymore. Like they should. We should all be apologizing. Nick, I'm sorry. Tristan, I'm sorry, right? We should be saying those things. Did I wake you up? I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I'm eating a bowl of eggs.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just didn't want people to chew while you're talking.
All right, turn your camera off. That's fine. Go ahead. And so what we do is we call, we say, look,
apologize.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're sorry. We're all sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, what we do is we say, hey, our assistant was texting you. You said stop. We just wanted to tell you that she's not going to text you anymore. Sorry. And then we're just quiet. This is the subtle nuance that you're missing with AI. You've got to be able, as the salesperson, to jump into the messy. See, we want AI to do it all, and we don't, because if AI does it all, that means the billion-dollar tech companies are going to kick us out of our job. The part that I feel very confident, I feel safe for the next 5 years, 10 years, is I know as a realtor and as a business owner, I can jump into the messy better than big tech can. So when we get a response that says stop and we have a human-to-human conversation, I'm going to say, hey, I'm sorry my assistant texted you. We're not going to text anymore. And then I'm just quiet. That's an old sales trick. I'm just going to be quiet. About 40% of the time, the person says something like this. I thought it was a robot. Sorry, it's fine. No big deal. Then I laugh. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So are you actually looking for a home, or should I take you off? And then maybe 10% of the 40%. So I'm not talking about a lot, but you don't need a lot to make a great living in this business, are going to say, actually, I am. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad I called. So tell me what you're looking for. Boom. AI surfaced what would have been a crummy conversation. I approach it humbly, kindly, professionally, and it's just a real nondescript way to surface a conversation. And so what I want to encourage everybody to do is you leverage these tools in all consumer behavior. Every conversation you have is an opportunity to seize the day. So there's stop, calling the stops, right? And saying, I'm sorry. There's the people that say things like, yeah, I'm not going to buy anytime soon because I'm saving up a down payment. Please leave me alone. That's another really, really good one where you can call and say, hey, I know that you're not ready. I know that you're saving up for a down payment. How did you decide how much you're going to save? Again, jumping into the messy so that you can then win the day. My favorite, and the one that tends to work the best by cooperating with AI, is actually taking over the conversation. And this is going to sound really stupid. And some of you are going to think that I'm like, why isn't he going over really important stuff? But this actually is a reason why some of you aren't making a lot of money with AI. So I want to make sure I touch on this. If AI is texting from number A, and that's a letter, but let's just call it number A, and AI and the consumer are talking to each other, and I text from number B, which is a different phone number, and I say, hey, can I talk to you about your home search? That's the equivalent of when you call the cable company and you say, hey, I have this problem, and you explain it to them for 10 minutes, and they say, oh, okay, let me go ahead and transfer you to the correct department. Please hold. And you wait. And then the cable company comes on and say, how can I help you? And then you have to tell the same story over again. That annoys me. I don't know if it annoys you guys, but it's like, gosh, could you have done that for me? Well, when you're texting from one number, Raya is, or your AI, whatever AI you're using, and then you're calling and texting from a different, you, believe it or not, are forcing the consumer to start a new establishment of trust. So what you need to do is you need to make sure your technology allows you to take over that conversation. Where, if your AI is texting from number A, right? You need to be texting from number A, and you need to be saying, hey, Barry wants to talk to you tomorrow between 1 and 1:30. Are you available? Right? So now you're taking over for the robot, because remember, they just had a long conversation. They shared personal information, and marketers call that micro conversions. They're beginning to trust the robot. I have had instances where the consumer came to my office and asked where Raya was. They thought they were boys, right? They were cool. And it's like, so about that, like, remember I told you we were tech savvy? Like, can we have a conversation about that for a second? And so you establish that, you do a good handoff. I guess that's a long way of saying you need to master the handoff between the robot and the salesperson. And you can't assume that just because they were talking to the robot on phone number A, that they're going to talk to the phone number on number B. In fact, I would tell you that most times they don't. And it's even weirder if you take over number A and say, hey, this is Barry now, can we chat? So for the last 10 minutes, they've been chatting with Raya, and
we lost Barry really quickly, right? He froze. All right, well, let me answer a quick question. Barry, where can we find the last marketing text in FUB? I'm going to open up my follow-up, boss. I had it ready, and there it is. So what we have under
to protect you from spam callers.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, Barry, you're back.
You cut
I
out.
was
Barry.
showcasing a question here now. Dude, you were gone for like 2 hours, man.
Dude,
Jeez.
what happened?
How long what was the last thing I said?
You were stuck like this.
Something about AI.
That's
Something
what
about
you were-
Raya. Oh, no. Let's go back up to where like people would come into your office and ask for Raya.
Okay, people come back into the office, and then I segued. It talked about how great Nick's beard was. I'll skip all that for now, and I'll just move on to the rest of the session, where they were establishing trust with the consumer, and you're messing it all up, right? And the other thing that happens is when you take over the conversation for your AI, you need to put the phone number that you're going to call from. So if I'm taking this over, hey, Barry wants to talk to you tomorrow between 1 and 3. Is that okay? They say yes. Then you put your phone number in the text message. Barry Jenkins, phone number, brokerage name. This does two things. One, you're telling them ahead of time. Maybe they'll remember the phone number. Probably not. The most important thing that happens is AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. They have technology with the cell phone companies to where they are reviewing your emails and text messages for phone numbers. When you put your personal number that you'll be calling the lead from in the AI conversation, that's the difference between when you call the phone saying spam likely or not ringing at all, and the phone saying maybe Barry Jenkins. Because now the cell phone's like, maybe we can trust this because you just got a text with this number yesterday. It was in a different chat, but I saw it, right? If not all leads, which are people, by the way, but not all leads have their email integrated with their cell phone in a way to where this works. So you might be emailing them with your phone number, but it probably won't say maybe. If you take over the AI conversation do a really strong handoff, include your phone number in the text conversation. Tomorrow, when you call, that phone will ring and it'll say maybe. And now, because you got the nod from the cell phone provider, you're going to get the nod from the consumer, and the likelihood of them answering increases significantly. And so these little tweaks, right? I mean, none of this is like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. But I'm telling those of you that are watching right now, this is the difference between you using robots in your business and making money, and you using robots in your business and you geek out for a little while, but you don't really make any more money. And ultimately, these tools are designed to help you make more money, but there's a consistent disconnect, guys. I know you see it with the agents you're training. They use the latest and the greatest, and they're going broke. They're like, I can't seem to get people to buy right now. And so having AI surface halfway great conversations and having a killer handoff, it allows you to take over these conversations and really move the needle. And the other thing I would say is AI is so good. This is the last, I don't remember how long I was supposed to go. So ring a bell or something if I'm supposed to stop. But
you have a few more minutes. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the other thing I would say is that with rates being high, inventory low, sentiment, buyer sentiment, seller sentiment is low. Like there's just, if there were 100 people, which there weren't, but let's say there was 100 people in my market that wanted to buy a home, maybe there's 60, right? And those 60 are like, yeah, maybe, depending on the circumstances. You don't make money off of maybe. You make money off of, can we go look at houses this weekend? Or can you come over to do a CMA? And so leveraging all of this lukewarm conversation with AI, everybody stop what they're doing. Ricardo's on. I'm just kidding. Leveraging these lukewarm conversations with AI and getting into the homes of people, setting up buyer appointments. That's how I'm doing so well. My business hasn't slowed down in this market. I'm betting the farm on IDX behavior. I have 250,000 people in my CRM right now. I'm running ads to all of them. And none of them, not none of them, but a small percentage are raising their hand and saying, can we go look? The rest of them, we're all up like, hey, I know you're not buying for a year, but I would love to chat with you. And when I rewrote Raya's scripts in this last iteration of script changes, that was one of the things we made. Instead of going for the punch so quick, we cooled her off and tried to get that engagement. So this for me was kind of like a level set session where I'm trying to do two things. One, help your users or your, the LabCoat community shop for true AI, not slotting technology, right? Not the stuff that was cool 5 years ago. Two, look for what's effective and isn't. And then three, make money off of the AI. And just with a couple of script tweaks and a couple of process changes about how you do the handoff between AI and the agent, you will make a lot of money doing this.